What's up, boys and girls? How are you? Welcome into a Wednesday episode of the Bostonian versus the Book. My name is Matt Perrault. We are live on our YouTube channel and our X channel at Boston versus the Book, replayed on Sports Grid Television and found on podcasts wherever you guys get your audio podcasts. Coming up on the show today, we've got a BetCris Arizona Wednesday. That means it's time to check in with Adam Bjorn. You're all wrong. Adam Bjorn is here. He is here in Las Vegas, G2E. So he's on my time, early morning, 10 a.m., 10:15 Pacific time for Adam Bjorn today on the program to go over week 6 of the NFL. Also, we have 4 Game 4s tonight in Major League Baseball. We'll get into all of them, picks and plays and thoughts. We'll talk about week number 6 of the NFL. It's Wednesday. That means Evan Abrams' Week 6 primer from the Action Network, that's out. I love going through that, looking at numbers and looking at trends, things we can use to bet on. There are a couple of games in the NHL that have my attention today that we're going to get into, but we start the program with a little bit of a, if you're a Philly fan, you might not like this, okay? But I've seen this story before, and it sure looks like the city of Philadelphia looks and is acting a whole lot like the city of Boston around 2002 and 2003. That's the opening line. So, if you guys are Philadelphia Philly fans, you're going to just have to listen to me for a second. If you hate the city of Boston, hold on. Just let me talk about this for a second, because I find this story to be completely fascinating about what is going on right now in the city of Philadelphia, because it looks so much and feels so much like the situation that happened in Boston after the Patriots won their first Super Bowl, and then they won their second Super Bowl, and all of a sudden the bar was raised for everyone else in the city. All of a sudden, the championship parades became something that you didn't just hope for. It became something that you now wanted and were requiring from the 4 major sports franchises operating in your city. When the Eagles won last year, it wasn't out of the blue, but it was somewhat surprising. When they beat the Patriots in 2017 and the Philly special and everything else that happened, and Jason Kelce's outfit at the parade and all the things that we remember from that Philadelphia Super Bowl. Well, last year they got to do it all over again. And I am looking at the city of Philadelphia in the wake of what went on after Game 2 against the Dodgers, in the preseason for the Flyers, and the soon-to-be preseason for the Sixers. And I look at the market and I'm like, you know what? I recognize this. I've seen this before, where all of a sudden fans get a little bit greedy and they start to get a little bit angry when the team doesn't do what they expect the team to do. Back in 2003, the Patriots owned the city of Boston. Like, it was all New England. We hadn't seen anything. In 2003, the Celtics had not won a championship since 1986. 1986. The Bruins hadn't won a Stanley Cup since 1972. And the Red Sox, well, we know about the Red Sox. The curse of the Bambino and everything that went into the Red Sox. We remember how many people were, including myself, thinking this team's never going to do anything. This team's never going to win anything. After Game 2, the Philadelphia Phillies had to hear one of their clutch players, Nick Castellanos, talking about the stadium in Game 2. Remember, the Phillies were down 4-0 in that game, 4-0. Then it was 4-1, and they had 2 on and nobody out in the 9th inning, bottom of the 9th inning. Castellanos said after the game, quote, "The stadium is alive on both sides, right? When the game is going good, it's the wind at our back. But when a game is not going good, it's wind in our face. So the environment can be with us and the environment can be against us." Is that blaming the fans? Like, is that saying that you guys are fair weather fans, that you only cheer for us when we're winning? You don't cheer for us when we're losing. And you're a problem. That's a Philly saying we're not playing well at home. Bryce Harper can't get a hit at home, can't get a hit, period. Neither can Kyle Schwarber. They can't hit. Both those guys are ice cold at the plate. Haven't done anything in this series against the Dodger pitching. Bullpen or starters. Doesn't matter. They've done bump kiss in this series. And now you have a guy coming out and blaming the fans. I'm not so sure you can blame the fans if you're in Philadelphia. I'm not sure this actually goes the way that the Philly fan hopes, because if the year ends tonight in LA, which I think it's going to, there's going to be a lot of questions about this roster and a lot of questions about whether you bring back Schwarber or not, whether you bring back Rob Thompson or not. Like, what do you do with this roster in this franchise? Because things are not progressing the way the fans are wanting it to. The fans want championships. And yep, they won one in 2008. I'll give that to you, right? They did win a championship. So it's not a complete direct analogy 1v1 when it comes to the Patriots and the Eagles and the city of Boston and Philadelphia. But the Eagles have put the pressure on every other team. And as of right now, it's not working. It's not working. The last title for the Phillies was in 08, but the Sixers in 1983 was the last time Philadelphia won the NBA championship. The Flyers was 1975. There is real pressure to keep up with the Joneses, if you will, to keep up with what is happening for the Eagles. I went and asked our friend John Kincaid today. I said, give me a quote. I need to know what's going on in the city of Philadelphia and what's going on with your fan base. What's the temperature in Philadelphia today before game 3? Kincaid, this is a direct quote from him. Philly is already such an Eagles town. And with this great run of success, it amped up the pressure on the Phillies to be all in on trying to keep up. I think the Sixers made even made short-sighted decisions trying not to look out of the mix. That would be some of the drafting that they did. The Flyers looked at this as the perfect chance to do a proper rebuild from the ground up when there's no real pressure, because there is no pressure at all on the Flyers. None. There is no pressure at all on them. The Sixers, if you look at the numbers, the Sixers are behind the Tatum-less Celtics for odds to win it all this year. And the Flyers are basically a lottery ticket to win the NHL, to win the Stanley Cup this year. And the Eagles just lost to the Broncos, and Saquon Barkley looks tired. Can we just call a spade a spade? Saquon Barkley looks tired. He ran so many carries last year, and he stayed healthy last year. But the Eagles offense had to have a come to Jesus meeting yesterday. All the star players had to get together and talk about what they were going to look like. Oh, yeah, by the way, they have one loss. And they play on Thursday night against the Giants on the road. But things don't feel good in Philadelphia right now for the Eagles from a football perspective. And that's the team that's carrying the flag for the entire city. Winning is unbelievable. You see one team win, and then you go, all right, the Eagles are good. What about you, Sixers? What about you, Flyers? Oh, Phillies, hold on a second. How much money are we paying these guys? And now you have a player calling out the fans, saying the fans are a problem because when things aren't going well at the bank, that the fans are cheering against the Phillies, that Philadelphia fans are making it problematic for the baseball team. The Liberty Bell is a blog that covers a ton of sports all over the city of Philadelphia. This is what they wrote yesterday about the comments blaming the Philly fans after the Game 2 loss. That line, while I plan a fundamental jihad on the Phillies franchise, is quite the line. But this writer, this blogger from the Liberty Bell, wrote this: it's not our fault. You gave us nothing to cheer for. Every postseason, it's the same damn story. Since 2022, the collapse has been obvious. And yet we still pack the ballpark, still believe, still scream ourselves hoarse, hoping a bunch of millionaires remember how to hit a baseball. We're not going to cheer you when you suck. This is Philadelphia. How is that shocking to you? They're not having it. They're not having it in Philadelphia. And I got to say, there's something to it. I mean, this is professional sports, right? And a city is asking a lot of you, professional athlete, to go and win, to go and be successful. And yes, in the era of Shohei Ohtani and the Dodgers, it's going to be very difficult for the Phillies to be a championship caliber team. But the fans don't care about that. The fans want to win. The fans want to see your team, and they want to see them rally and go and do something. Tonight, keep yourself alive. But here's the problem. Rob Thompson is not helping. He is deciding today to throw Aaron Nola. Aaron Nola, a guy with an ERA of nearly 7 on the road, up against the Dodgers in a must-win situation. And Ranger Suarez, one of the best pitchers this year for the Phillies, hasn't seen the mound yet. And the reason that Thompson's giving to everybody is that, well, Aaron Nola has never pitched out of the bullpen before. So I can't throw Ranger first. I have to throw Aaron first. And then if he gets in trouble, I'll then go to Suarez. Dude, it could be 5-0 by the time you go and get him. Like, what are we doing? How are you throwing Aaron Nola today? How, with your year on the line, how are you going and handing the baseball to him and say, here, save our season, please. And maybe save my job, because the bunt play in game number 2 that everyone's talking about, the fact that it didn't work, you're asking Bryson Stotts to bunt, which is like, what in the world are you doing? And then he bunts it down the third base line, which allows the wheel play. And they've got a slow runner, Castellanos, running. He gets out by 5 feet, not even close. He's dead to rights. And then there you go. That was it. There was your rally. That was everything. See you later. Phillies down 2-0 to the Dodgers, going back to Los Angeles. So, yeah, I agree, Butchie. This is batting practice for Ohtani. I agree. I am stunned that this is the decision by the Phillies to throw Aaron Nola today in a game they have to have, in a game that they must have. I mean, just put Ranger out there and see how long he can go. Just pitch him until his arm falls off. Like, just keep it rolling until his arm completely can't go again. And you hope that you're still in the baseball game. You hope that you can find a way to get to the Dodgers bullpen, and the Dodgers bullpen falls apart like it has in previous times this season, because it has not been good. But in this series, it's been pretty good. It's been really good. I think there's a lot of people in Philadelphia today that think their baseball team is going to lose, and they are prepared for it, and they are expecting it. And in some ways, they want it, because in cities like New York, Boston, even Chicago at times, you don't cheer against your team per se, but you want your team to lose because you want change, right? How much money are the Phillies going to give Kyle Schwarber? He's going to be a free agent. How much money do you want to give him? What do you want to do with the rest of the roster? What do you want to do with the pitching staff and the bullpen? And if you want real change at the manager spot, it has to end like a thud, right? They won the division. They've played pretty well, okay? The Phillies, this is not a bad baseball team. They had a bye. They've been waiting. But as what's happened consistently here in the playoffs, for whatever reason, buys in the playoffs have not worked all that well. Now, the Blue Jays, they win today. Okay, bye worked for them. Seattle, they win today. The bye worked for them. So there are some stories that, yes, the buys have not been a bad thing. Those series aren't over, by the way. But the Dodgers being a wild card team, or being the lowest, having to play through the wild card round and then going to play the Phillies, was just sort of a bad break for Philadelphia. Huge break for the Brewers, who go and try to close out today the Cubs on the road, and that would be a 3-game sweep. So, I mean, both of the DS series could end today, setting up Milwaukee up against the Dodgers, and that puts the Flyers and the Sixers right in line to be asked, okay, what are we doing all winter? What are we doing? Are we going to stand pat? Are the Sixers going to be anything? Is Joel Embiid going to make it through an entire season? Do we have anything to watch and be excited about? There's a bunch of young kids with the Flyers. I mean, they have torn it down to the studs, and they got a bunch of young kids coming up. So you could say, and that's where the Kincaid quote comes from, that the Flyers have done it right because the Flyers have taken the opportunity because no one's talking about them. And if no one's talking about them, they don't got to worry about anything. They just go ahead, and the Flyers looking at this as the perfect chance to do a proper rebuild from the ground up. I just remember, and maybe this will set up a gigantic run for the city of Philadelphia, just like it was in Boston. I never saw it coming. I didn't see the 2011 Stanley Cup for the Bruins. That was amazing because they had always fallen short in my lifetime. So that was incredible. I didn't see the Celtics do what they were going to do, winning it 2 years ago and then winning it with Paul Pierce. I sure as heck didn't see 4 championships with the Red Sox from 2004 to today. I didn't think I'd see 4 of those. So fortunes can change quickly, in particular in big markets with lots of money. But the city of Philadelphia, you guys have got to relax a little bit. I get it that you have every right to be furious and be angry at the way your franchise is playing, but they're blaming you. They're blaming you. Jeff Benny, I agree. Yankees suck. The players are blaming the fans. Yorkie, you might think you're watching them till February. You might think you are. I'm not sure you are. I bet the Cowboys to win the division, and I'm not backing off of it. I know they're 2-2-1, but I'm not backing off of it. There are things on the horizon with the Eagles that would make me feel a little bit upset or concerned about what's going on with the Eagles and whether or not they're going to start to see multiple players ask out. A.J. Brown to ask out. Devontae Smith to ask out. I mean, obviously, Saquon's not going to ask out, but oh boy. Things are not good right now in Philadelphia. Things are rough. You all were wrong. The Where in the World is Adam Bjorn segment of the program. He is not, and the guesses were, let's see. The guesses were in, I got to scroll way up. Where are the guesses here? Okay, so here are the guesses. Cyprus, no. England, no. Spain, no. How about here? He's here in our neck of the woods, Las Vegas, Nevada. What's going on, my friend? Welcome to town. How are you?
I'm good. Sitting in the Venetian here for G2E and enjoying some warm weather.
Yeah, it's been gorgeous. The weather here has been absolutely tremendous. Do you like G2E? I know some people love it, some people hate it. No.
No. No, I had no plan of coming here. And then a couple of guys I do some work with and whatnot are hosting something Thursday morning up at Southern Highlands Golf Club or something.
Nice.
So I'm coming to represent them and help them out. But yeah, no, this isn't for me.
Yeah, G2E is an interesting situation. I got invited to come out to a networking event yesterday that I had a conflict with, and I was just like, not really all that angry that I had a conflict with it because it's not really what I love to do, and my arm's in this darn sling. So I was like, yeah, I don't know if I'm going to be heading on out. So yeah, but good to see you. Good, thanks for coming back on. And so here's my question for you, just as we go through week number 6. I always say when we get to October, as bettors, we got to watch out because you guys start to get good. Like September can be a little bit soft, and then the numbers start to sharpen up. Do you guys see that as well, where your numbers start to get a bit more sharp once we hit October?
I would hope so. I mean, we have all the data, we have all the information, but I mean, these teams aren't really helping the process. I mean, look at last week. Jesus, what a carnage! I'm glad I come out with still 4 of my 8 survivors.
Oh, wow.
But
that's good.
I mean,
4 left.
Those comebacks, like 18 points, like there was 7 games with double digits or more, or.
Yeah, it was the first time. It was just the third time in the last 10 years that teams that were dogs of 7 points or more won the game outright. Like Titans doing it, the Niners did it, and the Patriots did it. Like that's just carnage for any survivor pool. I mean, I had the Cardinals. In your time, how bad of a beat is the Cardinals to the Titans?
So that was bad because I'd snuck through with 2 on Minnesota. Colts were flying, and I was about to go on Twitter and go, okay, 8 survived. And I'm like, no, you know better than that. So it was 21-3 or 21-6 or whatever it was.
Yep.
And then went about my business and then saw the final score flash 22-21. I'm like, what the? And then I saw that touchdown and then I only saw the drop in the ball like Monday. I'm just like, how do you handicap that? I guess is the question.
Yeah. You can't handicap stupidity. You can't handicap that, especially when there was supposed to have been. I mean, we've already seen it this year. We've seen a player do exactly that, where they drop the ball before the end zone. Like, nobody should be doing that in the NFL. And then it happened again. That would have made it 28-6. Like, that would have been all she wrote. That would have been all she wrote. That game was over.
But I knew, like, coming into this week, I'd said week 1, I'm not picking Cardinals when they were, against, I think, the Saints or something. And then there was another week, there was like people were loading up on Cardinals. I'm like, I don't trust these Cardinals. And sure enough, it was almost like the Bengals of 2024. The minute I got on the Cardinals, that was it. So, I'm glad I'm survived. I know from our call last week, and we were going through the numbers, I just landed. We're talking about the Rams, and I was almost going to ping my proxy guy and say, hey, throw a couple of my picks on the Rams. And then I was just, I'm not playing the Thursday game. I dodged that once with that Miami Bills game. I'm not doing that again. And then, I figured that'd knock out a fair few, and I'm happy to be alive.
Having 4, getting through with 4 is tremendous. I don't know how many people have multiple, but we're talking like 2,500 left. We're down to quite a number. Where having 4 left for you is great.
Yeah. So now the question is, do I just throw them all on the Packers this week and just, close my eyes and hope for the best, or do I just keep my strategy of spreading them a little bit? Yeah. But it's.
I like the Colts this week. I just think you can fade the Cardinals after what happened last week. I think that team's in a whole messload of trouble going across the country to take on Indianapolis at home, given how well they've been playing, and they killed the Raiders. I don't think the Chargers have much of a shot this coming weekend, but there's some big spreads. And let's start with one of them. That would be the Eagles on the road against the Giants. I think some might be inclined to take the Eagles this week, but I wouldn't. It's a road favorite in division on top of that. But what do you see from an action standpoint here with the Eagles? It looks like an underplay is coming here. The number's moving down from a total perspective. You guys have it at 7 and 40.5.
Let me check where this was at on the totals. So on the spread, it was like 81% of the money is on Philly. Wow. There was no master action. Let me see this game. Is this the
Thursday night game?
I'm going to the top. So the total is it's somewhat balanced on the overall money, but the master money is 100% on the under.
Yeah,
got under 42.5, under 42, under 41. So. There's not a penny of smart money on the over there.
It's been an under series. The last 14 games were 10-4 to the under, and you got Jackson Dart starting against that Philly defense. So, and Philly obviously being pretty angry coming off their loss to the Broncos. So, not a good situation for the Giants coming up this week. This game might get a little bit lopsided coming up on that. International game is the Broncos and the Jets. I don't know how much action you expect to see it, but it's a standalone game first thing in the morning. Broncos are a pretty big favorite here against kind of a dumpster fire Jets team that's 0-5, having to go, and we're sending that team overseas. Congratulations, England. You get the Jets. But what are you seeing from an action standpoint with that number?
So funny enough, I was going to mention the Monday night game, the crappy Commanders and the Bears as heavy volume, but this is the biggest bet game of the week, the Broncos Jets so far, like significantly. Wow. I'm looking at 68% of the rec money is on Denver. A lot of it's at -6.5, -7, but 62% of the master money is actually on the Jets at +8, +8.5. And as I said, there's significant volume on this game. So maybe it's the Jets' turn. I don't know. Maybe they think they put them on a neutral venue and there's a chance, or the Broncos have plane troubles or something. But it's They're playing the Jets at +8, 8.5.
Is that an alt number, or did you guys open at 8? Do you know?
It did pop up. What are we? The 8th today. It did pop up on the 6th for a little bit, and then early on the 6th there was +8, -09, -12, and then it looked like an alt at the +8.5 at a few pennies less. But it did pop up. I guess I don't know what are we, Wednesday today, so morning of Monday.
The first number came up at 8 and they took it. Okay, so the Jets are the pro side for that game. I don't hate it. I mean, it's points, right? So Broncos win, Jets cover type situation. You got to figure that the turnover luck, and that might be too, they're the first team since the merger to go 0-5 with no takeaways. So like at some point they have to recover a fumble or an interception or something that has to happen to get them to be at least keeping the game somewhat close. So I guess I could see the Jets, but my gosh, 0-5 is 0-5. I mean, that's backs against the wall, jobs on the line, I guess is what people are betting on that. A game that I'm curious to see what action you guys have and what master money you guys have on it is the 49ers and the Buccaneers, because I mean, it just feels like this is a special year for Baker Mayfield. He's been doing really impressive things. This number, you guys have it at 3 with a 47.5 total, home favorite of 3 with the Niners going across the country. What are you seeing from San Francisco and Tampa?
So we're looking at about 82% of the money's on the 49ers. This is a low bet game overall. The only master bet we have is at +3.5. But most of the Bucks money's at -2.5, -3, and the 49ers has been a bit of buying up to 3.5. So it's very little action. As I say, it's just both of those teams had wins last week that I guess were unexpected, and it's put them in the ring together now.
Do you think there's going to be heavy action on Lions Chiefs? Is that going to be one of the more heavier bet games by the time we get to Sunday? Like maybe not right now, but by the time we get to Sunday, do you think that game's going to have significant action?
I imagine so. I was looking at it earlier, and oddly enough, like 67% of our money is on the Lions. There's some strong master action on the Chiefs at -1, -1.5, which I guess is what's gotten it to 2.5 now. But I imagine come Sunday night that this will be a big bet game, and which side they come for. I mean, Lions, despite that first week loss and everyone sort of jumping off the bandwagon, which wasn't a bad loss, have come strong now. And the Chiefs, I mean, is this it? Is this the end of the era of the Chiefs, of what they've been able to do? Is just everyone's got lackadaisical about it? I don't know. Maybe the Chiefs are getting to a good Super Bowl price where they'll hang in there, they'll get through the season and show up at the end as well. So should be a cracker of a game though if both teams show up.
52.5. What's the total do you guys have up at the moment?
Currently we're at 53.
Okay.
Just diving in a bit, it looks like over 50 was an alt number, and then a bit of action under 53, under 53.5. Sort of solid at 53 right now.
Interesting. I mean, it's defense versus offense, right? I mean, the Lions defense is decent, but Chiefs are going to have to win that game playing defense, not really playing offense, and the Lions are going to look to score. So it feels like an under game if you like the Chiefs, and an over game if you like the Lions coming up on that. I was going to ask you about the Falcon Monday night game, but you made mention that the other game is getting most of the action, right? The Bears game.
Yeah, I went to that game to check out for you when you'd sent the list over of the Bills Falcons, and it was literally no action. And on my note it says no action. And then I was looking, and the Bears Commanders, and it's clearly the second best game. It's fairly well balanced. Chicago money anywhere from +6 at one point, +4.5, and then the Washington's heavy at -3.5, -4, and -4.5. I mean, this is. Jesus, for Bears Commanders, this is good two-way action.
It's a revenge game, I guess, right? For the Hail Mary that happened last year. So maybe that's people are playing that angle that,
I mean, this is one of those games that, the rec money's well balanced, the master money's well balanced. So it's just open up the limits and let them fly kind of thing.
That's great. That's a no play game for me. I want no part of that game. Bears Commanders. I want no part of that game. Yikes. That's I mean, it should be Jaden Daniels, but it's Caleb playing well with that new offense and whatnot. That's wild that game has been bet on Wednesday. That game's getting bet that much. Let's talk some college because there's some big games in college football here. And let's start with Alabama and Missouri. Bama's a road favorite coming off obviously a really big win over Vanderbilt last week. Missouri's nationally ranked and at home dog here. Any Masters interest in a home dog fading Alabama?
Yeah. I mean, overall, there's 78% of the money's on Missouri right now. It's like 82% of the master money. It's like +3, +3.5. Bama are pretty much friendless at this point. But yeah, it looks like there's been a bit of buying the hook and up to 3.5. But it's a solid 3 and solid money on Missouri.
How about that? Do you think you guys will close at 3.5? Or go down to 2?
Yeah, but based on the money right now, I can't see it going to 3.5 just because there is proper money on Missouri at the +3, and someone bought it to 3.5 on the master money. So I don't see it going up. I don't know if it'll get to 2.5. It looks like it's pretty solid at 3 right now, just with that support on Missouri.
That's going to be that's a fun game to watch, a fun game to bet on that. Ohio State and Illinois. There's 2 Big Ten games people are breaking down. Ohio State, Illinois, where you have it's a big number. It's 14 for the Buckeyes. Again, a home dog in college football is not nearly as attractive as a home dog in the NFL. But anybody like Illinois to take the points today?
No. It's like 87% of the money is on Ohio State. No master money at all involved at this point. Looks like some bought it down to 13.5. Some have bought it up. I guess it popped around sort of 15.5, 16 at one point. They got some money, but yeah, it's solid Ohio State right now.
All right. I don't know what to do with this game. Indiana and Oregon. The number's 7.5. The total is 55. That feels low. The number being 7.5 for Oregon, that feels heavy. What are you guys seeing from an action standpoint? Because this is a huge game in college football. It's a big measuring stick for Indiana because they've played basically nobody. Oregon has the win over Penn State on the road on their resume already. What are you guys seeing out of Indiana, Oregon?
Yeah, well, this one opened 9 and just got whacked pretty quickly. On Indiana, looking at 62% of the money overalls on Indiana, 100% of the master money. They took the 9, they took the 8.5, they took the 8, they took the 7.5. So money kind of drove it to this spot. On the total, we're looking at about 82%. Jesus Christ.
You're right. You're good. No worries. You're in Vegas and G2E. You're a popular guy.
Yeah, it looks like 82% of the money on the over, but the master money is strong on the under there. I was just diving in to see where that popped up. 56.5, 56, 55.5, 55. A little bit comeback of rec money on the over 55, but I think that's sort of holding solid because of the master money on the under there. But rec money's on the over.
Will you guys need Oregon? Do you think you'll need Oregon by kick?
Looks like right now we'll need Oregon. How that goes for the rest of the week, it's, as I said,
right.
The smart guys got in early, took that 9, took the 8.5. So it's kind of, leaning on numbers that don't look like they exist right now. Because even +7.5 is, dog -18 or something like that. So it looks like it may get to 7.
Very cool. I know I didn't put it to ask you ahead of time, but I'm just curious if you can look it up. The Red River with Texas and Oklahoma, that always is a big game, but is that going to be, do you think that will be a heavily bet game for you guys? I'm not playing until I know about the quarterback situation for Oregon with Mateer, whether he'll play or not. Is that game, has it been bet yet, or are people waiting to see what happens with the quarterback for OU?
Do you have the rotation number by any chance?
Sure. I'll put it on the screen for you. It's let's see. It is it's right below Indiana and Oregon on the app for that, for Red River, for Oklahoma, Texas. For that, you have it at -1 for Texas with the total at 43.5 at the moment.
Yeah, here we go. This game has got good action.
Okay.
So it's fairly well balanced overall. Not really any master action. If I jump in here, okay, so it looks like we're getting bets on Oklahoma +1, +2, +2.5, +3. Significant money on Texas -1, -2, even -3. But look what it opened up. Looked like it opened at 2.5. It quickly went to 3, and then it sort of went 2.5, 2, and down to 1. So I guess once it peaked at 3, it looks like then the money come for Texas later on, and that's where we're at 1 right now.
Interesting. That's fun though, right? When it's got both sides, good action going back and forth.
Well, I mean, as long as it doesn't land in the middle, but at those kind of numbers, it shouldn't be an issue. In college, again, the numbers aren't as strong as
right.
Well, even the NFL, the numbers aren't as strong as what they used to be with these missed extra points and different things like that. But this is what you like, especially this is rec money back and forth. As I said, there's nobody that's popped up that's respected at a certain level. So this is one of those fun games. Just let them bet, let it fly until we get a significant bet to tell us which side we want to lean to.
I'm not going to hold you because I know we want to watch you on your Twitter account at Adam Bjorn 2 when you make the official selection for your Survivor. But I got bounced out of my media Survivor pick by the Cardinals loss, so I got to live vicariously through you now with your 4 picks. What are you leaning towards if you had to pick it today for Survivor for this week in the NFL? What are you leaning for? Are you going to go just with the obvious and take the big favorite? Take the Lions, or are you going to look to go or take a heavy favorite, or are you going to go and look to do something different with your picks?
No, so I had actually looked at the Colts, but I had this happen with Cincinnati previously where I pick them, they lose. I pick against them. Like, there's just that teams, and I feel like if I pick against the Cardinals, like it's just begging to be like, I will spend on the Packers. I don't think I have them marked down as in sort of future value. I have to check. I believe I have them still alive in all 4.
Oh, wow.
Colts definitely used them in 2 last week that got through. So maybe the other one I have them available. So I may end up doing the Colts. So if I do 2 on the Colts and the Cardinals win, then then
it's so don't do that. Don't do that. It's my fault then.
Yeah, it just means that I'm so in tune with the gambling gods that I know exactly what's going to happen, why it's going to happen.
It's a good place to be, though. I mean, heck.
Yeah, but that's definitely going to be spending at least 2 or 3 on the Packers because, as I said, I think I had them marked for this week and they have no real future value. I had Rams, but then they're on the road. I don't like favorites on the road, no matter how strong they are. So maybe that's what it ends up being is the Colts and the Packers, but definitely, we'll spend on the Packers. That's all I know right now.
Yeah, Packers are going to be obviously a very popular, probably the number 1 pick coming up. All right, before that you go, is there anything in Vegas you have to do when you come? Is there something that you do every time when you're in town that you have to do?
Usually In-N-Out Burger, and thankfully, because I'm staying at the Venetian, there is one just down the road near the big circle wheel. I usually do hit that up whenever I'm out on this side with the In-N-Out Burger. But generally, hitting up sports books and all those kind of things, just it's not as fun as what it used to be. I rarely stay on the Strip. Just so happened my hotel that I normally like staying, which then at the Westin, which I walked through the car park to get to you, was sold out. So I ended up just grabbing a room at the Venetian for a couple of nights to squeeze it in here. But yeah, I enjoy coming here. I like the dry heat. I like the,
it's October too.
Yeah, yes. Oh, that's it. I mean, October weather generally everywhere in the world is great, but that's the best time to be here as well.
Yeah, best month by far from a weather perspective. Venetian in Palazzo is where I started my journey here in Las Vegas. So that place is has a soft place in my heart. I love that. All the suites. I like the property. The book, they redid it. It's not bad. The food court's not horrible. The shopping's pretty good in there as well. And you get the gondolas rolling around and the guys singing and whatnot. So it's good stuff. Adam, thank you. Enjoy your time here in town. We'll talk to you next week. All right.
All right. Cheers. Thanks, Matt.
That is the one and only Adam Bjorn joining us here on the Bostonian versus the Book. He is here in Las Vegas for G2E. Something that, one of those situations where I pretty much should be down on the Strip because of all this, like I should be, but I'm not because of a variety of reasons, but mostly because of where I am here with my sling, and I'm not supposed to be in public. I've been told not to be in crowded spaces with my arm because somebody could smack into me. Let's talk about what happened last night. All right, Yankee fans, I'll give it to you. That was impressive. Everybody in New England, including myself, every Red Sox fan, we were having a good old time with the Yankees at their expense that they were going to get swept by the Blue Jays. And that's a hell of a comeback. And that 3-run bomb off the foul pole by Aaron Judge, impressive. Really, really impressive performance. I don't know if it translates over to today. The Blue Jays, though, are throwing a bullpen game, and that's not good, okay? They're throwing a guy who gave up 2 runs last night in 1 inning, and he starts here in Game 4 in the Bronx. That's not a great situation for the Blue Jays, but I'll give the Yankees credit for that come from behind. I had them dead. I had them gone. I had them eliminated, and they rose up, and Aaron Judge, and they win the game 9-6. I had the over in the game, so I didn't care what happened. The over hit just by the Blue Jays going up 6-1. But then that rally, I mean, pretty impressive. 8 runs unanswered by the Yankees to win that game. The Tigers did nothing. The bullpen, the ballpark rather, did nothing. The orange out wasn't a good idea, and Jack Flaherty got lit up. That's why I took the Mariners for that reason. I mean, I was surprised that Detroit threw him, but I don't think they've got any shot. No shot here on that. And I think there's not a lot of fight left in the Tigers. And I think the Mariners do get it done, but that was a disappointing performance. That was a disappointing performance by the Tigers last night. More on that game tonight for Game 4 for the Mariners and the Tigers in a second. If you were on the under for the Panthers game against the Blackhawks, Game 1 of the NHL season, you're living right. If you were on the over, you're definitely not hot at the moment. That was brutal. 3 goals in the first period, a ton of shots. And I mean a ton of shots. The Panthers win the game, but they win the game 3-2. The game stays under. Game should have gone over. I mean, it should have been a puck line win for the Panthers on top of that. But defense and goaltending, pretty good for Chicago last night. On the flip side, what was that by the Rangers? Did you guys watch any of that hockey game? I couldn't believe the lack of fight, the lack of effort. They lost the game 3-0 because of the fact that they pulled the goaltender and gave up 2 empty net goals. So if you had the Penguins and their team total over, it was as low as 2.5 from a live perspective. That went over. I couldn't get over the Rangers' lack of offense and almost the lack of interest. That's not a good sign for a team that really played poorly at home last year. You made a change with the head coaching position. You bring in the former coach for the Penguins. You expect to see offense. You expect to see fight. Nothing. Like there was nothing for the Rangers. And that's a pretty young and old 2 separation. They have young kids on the Penguins and really old guys on the Penguins. And the old guys, well, they didn't look that impressive. The young kids looked okay, but that was really crazy. Sonic, yes, good. Thanks for posting this. There are some games that will be just on HBO Max. Yes. And not TNT. That's true. Yes. So TNT's contract kicked in this year. Remember, they did a deal with the NHL to air weeknight games. And I think it's Wednesday and Friday, I think, when those games go off. But yes, that's true. You are going to need to have HBO to watch certain hockey games. But then again, I have to check the ESPN app, but ESPN still, I think, has every game on the ESPN app for hockey. Still although the prices all went up for that. Shocking. But I think ESPN still has all the NHL games as well for it to be able to do that. But yes, another subscription needed. Yes, that's not good. Yeah, okay, Monday games are on Apple. Yeah, they're all over the place. I mean, I don't like I have kind of a different take on it only because, and this is, nobody, people who aren't in media can't do this. So I understand the pain of having to pay and be frustrated. We get to write off those things in the media. It's a tax exempt. It's a tax write off for us, but it means more nationally televised games. And I don't hate that. I don't hate the fact that we get more games. If you put it on a national streaming platform, we're getting to watch more games nationally than ever before. So I don't hate that. I don't mind watching games on my phone. Dave and I used to always argue about that. I don't mind watching games on my phone. So I don't mind the ESPN app, and I watch it. You can put the ESPN app on your TV too, but I tend to watch it on my phone. And I don't hate the fact that we get to wherever I am in the world or where I am in the country, I can watch those games. So if I'm out of town, if I'm in New England, if I am, somewhere else, I can still watch those games regardless. The thing that I don't like, and this happens when I go to Boston, like I don't like the fact that if you're in New England, I can't watch the Red Sox on the Sunday ticket or on the MLB package that I pay for because I have to pay for a local subscription service. That pisses me off. I don't like that. So the geography portion of all of this makes me angry. So like if I'm in Las Vegas and the Golden Knights are being shown on TNT or HBO, I should be able to watch them on TNT or HBO. Instead, they black it out. That makes me mad. I think that's the biggest problem. And that's how things get really angry about it. So really, really don't like that. DeMarco, hate to break it to you. Stream East is gone. Sorry. There are others, but Stream East is gone. They shut that down. So big federal investigation. They arrested all those guys. So, sorry. That's not possible. Let's talk about some of the games happening tonight. Make some bets. Oh, you're using it last week. Is it back? Did Stream East come back? I don't know. I just know the headline came out and I haven't seen it since, but Stream East got shut down. Maybe they put it back up again with different people, but Stream East, those guys got perp walked. They got arrested by U.S. authorities for it. Let's talk just the picks. Seattle game 4, first game of the day. Detroit, the favorite. I don't understand why, other than maybe, okay, they're at home, so that's why they're favored. But to me, this is not a good situation for the Tigers. Didn't like the body language. I know Casey Mize has done good, has been decent for them, and has led them in wins. But recently, Casey Mize hasn't been great. And I like Bryce Miller a lot. I like the matchup here for the Mariners. I think that they've got the momentum after yesterday. Cal Raleigh hit his 61st home run. I forgot to put that story on the rundown. That's my bad. Do you guys see that story where the guy that had a shirt on that said 61, dump it here, caught the 61st home run by Cal Raleigh, and then he had a shirt on underneath it that said 62, dump it here? Like, tell me we're not living in a simulation when that happens. Like, how did that happen? How is that possible? Like, that's one of the craziest things to ever see on that. Like, that's wild to me. But I like Seattle today. I would lay it. That current number, I bet it last night. The current number is minus 108, minus 106, minus 110, minus 103. Depends on the book. There's different prices here. But the Tigers are slight favorites, but the money is coming in, obviously, on the Mariners, because I think it should come in on the Mariners, because I do agree with the chat that says that the Tigers are dead. Second game of the day, Milwaukee at Chicago. It's my boy. It's my binky. It's my baby. All of it. Quinn Priester. Nobody has been more profitable this year for me than Quinn Priester. Now, the Brewers have been the most profitable baseball team, but no pitcher has been more profitable than Quinn Priester. I got on the run for his wins for betting the Brewers right around the 5th time the team won. Well, they won 17 straight games when Quinn Priester pitched. The last 5 before he lost to the Reds in a meaningless game at the end of the year, those 5 were on the run line. There's not a lefty going today, so at least Craig Counsell is using his noggin. I'm not going to throw a lefty anymore. It's Tyon, who's not horrible for Chicago. 6.5 from a total perspective is a little interesting. That's really low. That's really low for Wrigley Field. And look, the wind might be howling and blowing in. I'm just taking the dog here. I got plus money on Milwaukee last night. That number has now changed. I got plus 108, I believe it was last night. Now it's minus 105 here on Quinn Priester. The wind is blowing in. Okay. Thank you. Appreciate that. You know, I would lean towards the over just because 6.5 is so darn low for a game with the Cubs and the Cubs offense. The Cubs at home were great. So let's see if they can do what the Yankees did. Can they keep themselves alive here? That should say game 3, by the way, not game 4. Sorry, that's a mistake. That's game 3 today for this one, not game 4. Sorry. Let me correct that on the fly. For that, I like Milwaukee. I like it today. Give me Quinn Priester. Sweep out the Cubs. See you later. Bye-bye. I like Seattle. I'm sorry. I like Milwaukee. I like Seattle. I like Milwaukee. The third game of the day, Blue Jays and the Yankees. Only thing I'm playing on this game is the team total for New York. So New York's gone over this number in 2 of the 3 games. They scored 1 in the first game, 7, and then 9. It's hard to see the Yankees not scoring today. It's hard to see them not taking that momentum from yesterday, carrying it over, and going up against a bullpen game for the Blue Jays. Again, the guy the Blue Jays are pitching through yesterday gave up 2 earned runs. Varland going today, don't love that at all for Toronto. And the guy Schleitler, go through a whole line of what you want to say this kid's name, but the kid was amazing. I mean, the kid was amazing. Straight up amazing. Flamethrower, amazing performance against the Red Sox. Does he have it in him again? I don't know. I don't know if he has it in him again, but I think you can back the Yankees offense. I think the best way to do it is to back the Yankees offense. I don't know. I don't agree. I don't agree with this, Josie Myers. Going back to Toronto, the Blue Jays are such a better team at home that you play all year to host a game 5 at home. I don't think they're in trouble. I do think they win. I think they could lose today and win because it gets them back into their normal rotation. So like if it happens and they lose today, so what? I don't think it's that big of a deal. I really don't. I think they could go back home and win and knock the Yankees out in a game 5. You want to have game 5 at your place. Is all the pressure on the Blue Jays? Yes. The Yankees will be playing with house money. And if the Blue Jays go down in game 5, yes, that could be problematic. But you blow a 6-1 lead in a winner, in a must-win game, and you let the team come back on you. Every Yankee fan's going to the ballpark today expecting a win. Like every single. I mean, they're all coming after every pitcher. Every Yankee fan in that building is going to be just at full throat up against against the Jays pitchers. So I think the Yankees score 5 runs. That's my only bet here. Over 4.5 for the Yankees here up against the Blue Jays. I do think, though, the Yankees win. I think it's a real good shot that we're going back to Toronto for game 5. And finally, Philly at LA. I got 7.5 last night. The number now is 8. I cannot believe Aaron Nola is pitching and starting this game. It makes no sense. Yamamoto pitching here. Oh, we've seen some number. It's coming down now. It opened I got 7.5. Now we're at 7.5, almost across the board. I still like the over with Aaron Nola in this offense. I think the Phillies, the only way they got to score 4 runs tonight. If they're going to win, they got to score 4, 5, 6. They need to get their offense going. Maybe the weather, maybe the time change, maybe getting away from Philadelphia Philly fan, all benefits. But I like the over I think it ends though. I think the Dodgers win. They sweep out the Phillies. I think the game goes over. Yeah, under 8. His number is 8.5. Oh my gosh, that's incredible. They don't think he's going to get out of the 3rd inning. Wow. 1 time through the order. Yeah, that's what I got too. You're on, Sean. Over 7.5. That's the number I played as well. So we'll see what happens. Look, I hope you're right on that. Jason Casey, I would agree. The lineup for the Blue Jays is way better than the Red Sox. That is true. But they do strike out nearly as much. Vlad was awesome in game 1 and game 2. Vlad was good in the beginning part of the game last night. You need his bat. And you need, Bo Bichette's bat, him not being part of this is, a little bit on the question side because of the injury he suffered late in the year. So get to the ALCS and maybe he'll be able to play. But I don't think this is if the Blue Jays lose this game today, the Blue Jays are out. I don't believe that. I think the Blue Jays can win game 5 coming up at home. We hit the prop bet of the day yesterday. Let's see if we can do it 2 days in a row. So as I mentioned, I like Bryce Miller, and I like Bryce Miller today to go over 11.5 outs. It's a little juicy at -140, but at this number of 11.5, and granted, the bullpen for the Mariners is really good. So there could be a pitching change at some point here, maybe earlier than normal, but at 11.5, Bryce Miller, and I'm dead serious, is 15 for 15 on the year going over this number. Okay. Again, bullpen usage. How will they come out and use the bullpen? Will Bryce Miller get into trouble? What's the game plan here for the Mariners? But all we need him to do is to get into the 5th inning. That's it. Get Bryce Miller to the 5th inning, and we're going over here. Just give me 12 outs. Give me 4 innings, get him into the 5th, and then you can take him out. I know it's, -140. And yes, the bullpen is very rested. 100%. Yes, the bullpen is rested. But I like Bryce Miller over 11.5 outs today. Give me 12 outs for him coming up here today. All right, let's talk about Evan Abrams and some bets, some information for bets that we can make for week 6 of the NFL. This is always an unbelievable part of the week when he puts this out from the Action Network. So all this stats comes from Evan Abrams, but it's great to get into these. And these are just trends, okay? But things you can use to help you find bets to make for the NFL coming up in week number 6. Let's talk about last week real fast. 3rd time in the last 10 years where a 7-point or more dog won outright in the NFL. 3 teams doing it. I should say 3rd time that 3 teams in the last 10 years all won. Titans, 49ers, and the Patriots all did it. Dogs went 9-5 straight up last week. That's the most wins in a single week since 2022, after favorites had dominated the first 4 weeks of the NFL. Week 5 was straight carnage. As we look ahead to this week's NFC versus AFC matchups, the NFC is 18-9 against the AFC this season. They've won every single week. They are 5-0. If you've bet against the AFC in these matchups, every game for 5 weeks, you're profitable every single week. 6 games this week featuring an AFC team up against an NFC team. So far, the NFC has completely dominated the AFC. Could that swing? Could that change? Yes, but so far it is not. Teams with 70% of the tickets this season are 13-3 against the number, including 0-7 against the number when those teams are at home. Be careful. This is a money line season. This is not an ATS season. Home teams in the NFL have dominated, but home teams against the spread are not. They're 0-7 when everybody thinks it's an automatic. Run to the window and bet it like it's already been played before. Careful about those plays. To this week, Sean McVay and the Rams are on the road when they are 4-point favorites or more. With Sean McVay in LA, the team is 16-0 straight up. The Rams are laying 7.5 against the Ravens this week. The Ravens lose this game. They go to 1-5 as they hit their bye week in week 7. And they're hoping to get Lamar Jackson back. But 1-5, you have to sort of begin to believe that the year is over. And that's it. And that's it. Like, see you later. Goodbye for the Ravens. You can cross them out, which is really wild to do that. Take the Rams in Survivor. Not bad. I mean, again, it's just straight up. You aren't looking at them to cover. You just want them to win. They got to go on the road. It's not great, but on the road, it's a pretty good stat. 7.5-point favorites. When it's 4 points or more, Sean McVay and the Rams are 16-0. They play well on the East Coast. They play well anywhere on the road. Straight up 16-0 is straight up 16-0. It's pretty good. If you guys are with us live, we'll have more coming up here for stats and trends for week 6 of the NFL. If you are watching on the replay on Sports Grid Television, thank you for being here. Come on over to watch the rest of the show on YouTube at Boston versus the Book, or we'll talk to you tomorrow for another episode here on Sports Grid TV. For you guys live, bonus time starts now. All right, continuing here with the primer for Evan Abrams. Eagles and the Giants. As I mentioned to Adam Bjorn from BetCris Arizona earlier in the program, it's been an under series. 10-4 to the under over the last 14 meetings. Most books have this number at 41. And as you heard from Adam, the pro money, the master money, the sharp money, however you want to say it, it's on the under. So that under is good for Thursday. I think that's a good play. It's where I will be. I'll be on the under 41 for Eagles and the Giants. Eagles offense looks somewhat broken. Giants defense is pretty good. Divisional matchup. I don't like Jackson Dart. I think the Eagles win. Not sure the Eagles cover. I think the best play of the game on Thursday is the under. Broncos and the Jets. Bet Sean Payton when he goes overseas. As you heard, Jet money coming in heavy on this game at BetCris Arizona and Prime Sportsbook. Well, 2-0 straight up, 2-0 against the spread for Sean Payton when he goes overseas, covering by 12 points per game. He's not just winning those games overseas, he's dominating. Small sample size, just 2 games, but Sean Payton against the Jets may not be a bad look on that. Maybe a straight up play versus laying the points, but Broncos off their big win against the Eagles. Can they follow it up by beating the Jets and dropping the Jets to 0-6 on the year? Justin Herbert is 13-6 against the number in his career playing in the Eastern time zone. That's remarkable. West Coast kid, West Coast player, played at Oregon, now with LA. Chargers laying 4 at Miami. And the rumor mill about Mike McDaniel is picking up some real steam about he could be gone soon. No Tyreek Hill. He's gone for the year. They were up 17-0 on the Panthers, and they blew it, and they lost that game. That is not sitting well with ownership. It's not sitting well with the fan base. And there have been some real loud discussions about the future of Mike McDaniel. Don't mind laying it with the Chargers here at 4 against Miami on the road. Weather won't be a problem, and there could be some, Philadelphia Philly type turning going on for the Dolphins fans in that building if things start to go south for the Dolphins. All right, a couple games tonight in the NHL. The Bruins are at Washington. Swayman is in net for the Bruins coming up here for tonight. Washington big favorites at -190. Total is 5.5. I would lean towards the under in this game. But that's a good measuring stick, a good game to watch if you're looking to see, okay, Matt bet the over 79.5 points for the Bruins. Let's see what they look like against Washington. That because Washington and Boston, talent level wise, they're very similar. So let's see what happens with Ovechkin and what happens with Pasternak. Let's see what these two studs, Hall of Fame players, what they do against each other. And is Swayman going to be Swayman again? Is Jeremy Swayman going to find his moxie again and be the Jeremy Swayman that was a dead under goaltender all the time? 2-1, 3-1 hockey games every time. So let's see. First game for a new head coach, young head coach for the Boston Bruins. The LA Kings are here in Vegas. LA lost last night, got dominated by Colorado. Really impressive performance by the Avs. 4-1 win for Colorado. And if you're looking at trends, last year the LA Kings were 31-6-4 at home. They were bad on the road. Well, they lost last night. Only 6 times last year did they lose a game in regulation at home. And they lost game 1 to Colorado. Now they're on a back-to-back up against Vegas and the Golden Knights home opener tonight. And there is a gigantic crowd waiting for them that is ecstatic to cheer against the Kings. Golden Knight fans don't like LA. This will be a fun atmosphere tonight here at T-Mobile Arena. I would lean towards the over in this game, but it's the debut of Mitch Marner. If you're looking for a parlay piece, I think taking Vegas on the money line is good. I like that. I think that works on this, but Vegas wins. I lean towards the over. Ooh, that's interesting. Marner and Eichel point parlays. How heavy is the point? Oh my God, that's minus 110. Oh my gosh. That's crazy. Whew. Okay. So I like Vegas. Yeah. Train, I'm going watch Boston. It's a watch game for me. I'm not betting it. I got to watch it. I would bet Vegas, but I don't like laying $2. But I do think Vegas is going to win. I do think Vegas wins, and I could see an overplay as well. So there's going to be a lot of hype for Mitch Marner tonight in Vegas. It's going to be a lot of excitement for that kid playing tonight, home opener up against the LA Kings, who are on a back-to-back after losing and getting dominated last night. There is some news of the industry that's pretty interesting. So our friend David Payne Purnham put this out earlier today, and I don't know what to make of this. The NCAA's Division I Admin Committee on Wednesday voted to adopt a proposal that would permit student athletes and athletic department staff members to bet on professional sports. Proposal must be approved by lower divisions before it can go into effect. So I understand these kids are doing it anyway, right? This is one of those situations where they're already doing it, so we should just go ahead and let them bet on pro sports and not have these problems. But it is hard for me to understand that if you let the kids bet on pro sports, how do they not bet on what they know? And what they know is college. So if you're a football player at Ohio State or say Kentucky, right? And your football team's not any good, but your basketball team's going to be good. And you can't bet on your own football team because obviously you play football, so you can't do that. But can you bet on basketball? Well, no, you can't bet on basketball. Well, why not? Well, because it's college. I know, but what's the difference? I don't play basketball. I don't play pro football. So why can't I bet on the NFL? I think it's more appropriate for someone in the admin team, someone who works in the athletic department as a non-student athlete. I think that is okay to let them bet on the professional side of things. Remember, if you work in an NFL front office, you can't bet on anything with the NFL. You can't even step foot in a book in the NFL, or they'll come after you. So, I don't know what happens with that. I mean, I got to be honest. A part of me feels like this is a bad idea, but the other side of me says, okay, well, it's happening anyway, and why investigate these people? Again, student athletes versus athletic department staff. I think athletic department staff should be able to bet on whatever they want to bet on. I think if you're a grown adult, 25, 28, 35, whatever it may be, you should be able to bet on whatever you want to bet on. Like that should just be the case. So letting them bet on professional sports and saying, okay, that's okay, but betting on college is not. Again, I think admin people should be able to bet on whatever they want. Student athletes, I would prefer you don't allow student athletes to gamble at all, but we know that they are. And so this is one of those things of like, okay, if we give you professional sports, will you not bet on college? Like, will you please don't bet on college? The kids are going to bet on college. The kids are going to bet on college. Like, it's just going to happen. So I don't know how much of that actually comes into play. I don't know how much I can say like, yeah, kids are going to be excited because they can just bet on that and that's it. I think it comes down to whether or not they're caught betting on college. Now you're allowed to bet on the NFL. You're allowed to bet on Major League Baseball. You're allowed to bet on the NBA, but you can't bet on college basketball. You can't bet on college football. You can't bet on college baseball. Like, they're going to do it. They're in the same app. Like, come on. They've already been doing it. So I struggle with this topic because I understand what they're trying to do, but unfortunately, I don't think they are going to succeed with what they're trying to do on that. I'm sorry about drinking, but I can go an hour straight without talking, without drinking something, and then I need to go ahead. I need to drink something on that. So watch and see. I mean, that could set us up for another controversy, another issue with kids. I hope not, but it kind of feels that way. Let's talk favorite thing about where's that? Where did I move that to? My favorite thing about today is, where did I move that? Did I delete that? No, I'll be so sad if I deleted that. Did my favorite thing about today get deleted? Oh, no. Oh, there it is. I would have been sad about that if my favorite thing about today had been deleted. For me, favorite thing about today, and this kind of goes down to what I said last night on the Discord channel, where we finalized our deal yesterday with BetCris Arizona, and so they are funding the show until the rest of football. Okay, so I'm really excited about having Adam Bjorn and having BetCris Arizona and Prime Sportsbook, but this is where I lean on you guys. Okay, I don't know if they're going to give us a promo code or not. I'm still waiting to hear back from some of their compliance people as to what they're going to do for the rest of the football season. But if you have a chance, if you're in the states of Ohio, New Jersey, or Kentucky, or you live in Arizona, if you have a choice, if you have a different option to use one book versus another, and look, I'm not telling you to use a book that has a worse price, but if the prices are comparable, if it's -110 at one book and you're laying 4 or laying 4 at -110 in a different book, I'm going to ask you if you can please use Prime Sportsbook and BetCris Arizona, because they are the ones who are stepping up to fund the show to keep us going here for the rest of the football season. There are others. We have others who are going to come on board, but not to the level that these guys have stepped up to be a part to make sure the show continues to go on. So this is a not a plea, but it's just to give you guys in the awareness as to what Adam Bjorn, what Joe Brennan Jr., what they have stepped up to do to keep the show in the wake of Dave's passing, to say, we got you. We'll make sure the show keeps going. So I don't really know, to be quite honest, Sonic, on that. I think it's just use their product. Okay. I'm not sure that they have promo codes. They don't. They're like Circa and they're like the Westgate. This is a sharp book. Okay. So they're not looking to go completely wreck and give you, bet $5, get $250 in bonus bets. That's not their thing. Okay. That's not their jam. So they're not looking at that all that much. So I think it's more or less just use their product and they'll notice an uptick in handle. They'll notice people using it. You can tweet to Adam, tell him that you're using it at Adam Bjorn 2, at Joe Brennan Jr. on Twitter, or at Prime Sportsbook, or at BetCris Arizona. I think it's BetCris AZ on Twitter. You can go ahead and just tag them and say, hey, I'm using this. And yeah, no, I appreciate that, Sonic. Thank you. It's nice of you I obviously want us to get credit too for using them. Thank you, Josie Myers. Really nice of you, man. Thank you for doing that. Appreciate the super chat. So just, I know a lot of you guys are around. Like, yeah, DeMarco Day saying he's in Seattle. It's not a problem at all. If you're not in one, because they're only in a certain number of states, so you can't use it. So I'm just asking you, if you're in and around those states, Ohio, New Jersey, Kentucky, Arizona, if you're in and around and you have a chance, or you travel to those states, if you travel to New Jersey, you travel to Ohio, you travel to Kentucky, you travel to Arizona, and you can do it, you can remote sign up, you can, on your phone, you can remote sign up and then go ahead and use those guys. That's where it could help the show out a lot. So my favorite thing about today is that we are funded. We are good. Next conversation will be about the Super Bowl, about what happens next with us going back to the Super Bowl. And I've been having conversations with that for the last couple of days about people potentially wanting us to go out there to Santa Clara. It's a West Coast Super Bowl, so it's not that hard to get to for that. So Jimmy, you're asking for the proxy stinger? Yeah, man, I can take care of that. We can do that. There will be news about the Brigade proxy service at some point in the coming weeks. Tom has been so, Vegas proxy Tom. I saw him at the funeral. I saw him at the wake. He'll be on the show at some point in the near future, and I have a huge amount of respect for him and the fact that he donated all of the money that you guys paid. If you're a Brigade proxy service client, all the money that came from us went to Jessica and the girls. 100% of that money went to them. So he's doing that for free. He's working for free for the whole football season. He's doing that for free. So that's a amazing gesture that Tom did this year for all of you guys who are Brigade Proxy Service members. So that money went to Jess and the girls. So we'll have some more information about that coming up in the next couple of weeks about, we got to finalize some stuff before I can make the announcement, but there will be some news coming down the pike with all of that, but we'll keep that stinger because that stinger is tremendous. We love that stinger. Thursday, tomorrow, Eagles, Giants. We'll break down the game, prop bets, and we'll watch baseball tonight. Look ahead to see what number of game 5s or game 4s we'll have to bet on. This is the last 4-game day of the Major League Baseball season. Enjoy it. Go watch it. Have a good time with it. I'll be in the Discord channel, thebvbshow.com, watching it with you guys. Come over and hang on out. We're back tomorrow for a Thursday's BVB. My thanks to Adam Bjorn in BetCris, Arizona for sponsoring this show today, and for Adam Bjorn for joining us here. He was in Vegas, amazingly enough. Back tomorrow for a Thursday's BVB.